Growing up in North Myrtle Beach. Well, obviously you had the beach, which was always a good draw, even though I didn't take advantage of it like I should all the time. And my dad doing what he did, having golf courses. I'm a golf pro now, so obviously my dad had an influence on my career choice because of his acquiring some golf courses. You know, he has a real estate company too, so you know I did a little bit of work in that. So I think I owe a lot to my dad as far as not only my career, but I learned a little bit just working in the real estate business some as well about golf, about being in business in general. So I think I can, you know, certainly thank him for helping me with those things and probably led me in the direction I'm in. You know, one thing I've always enjoyed is sports. And, you know, I've had a chance for 21 years now to work in a sports-related field that has something to do with golf, which my dad started, I think, Beechwood maybe 40-something years ago. He started another course, Eagles Nest, 35 years ago. He started a real estate company that my brother now has continued that legacy, so to speak, and he's been down there working hard and doing well. But my dad is the one that started all that. He went down there on his own and you know, basically had a job interview one time that he told us about when he left Clemson. Didn't take the job and just said, I'm going to go do something on my own at the beach. And he started a little real estate company in, you know, Ocean Drive. And now my brother's expanded that, but my dad is he got involved with 2 golf courses with some partners. And, you know, I'm proud of what he's been able to do. And I think that, you know, what I do now, you know, hopefully it makes him proud because it is something that, you know, he chose to do with his own career. And so, you know, I think I got a lot of that, you know, growing up in North Myrtle Beach. I think that's a lot of what I learned, and I can thank my dad for that. My mom, well, mom was, I think my dad is, you know, a little bit about dad. I think my dad is traditional. He's old school. He was there financially for us. You know, if I needed anything financially, he was always there. I never had to worry about food on the table, and I think that was very important to my dad. And if I needed something emotionally, I think he was there for that as well. But mom, she had a job, I think, when they were first married, and she was doing well. But you know, dad wanted her to raise a family, and I have an older brother, and a younger sister that's an attorney in Greenville. And I think mom did a good job. I mean, Rick and I were probably hard at times. We like to fight, and she had to deal with us, and probably wasn't always rewarding. But she chose to do what she did, and I think we're all 3 pretty good children, and we certainly owe our upbringing and a lot of things that we do now, you know, our consideration for other people, yes ma'am, no, you know, yes sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am, whatever. We learned our Southern roots from our mom because she taught us that. Sometimes with an iron fist, but she made us learn. So, you know, she certainly was a big influence in a very positive way as well. I live in Marietta, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta. Like I said, I've been a golf pro for 21 years. I started out working in insurance business and realized that that's not really something I want to do. I'm not a suit and tie type person, so I like golf. I love people, very extroverted, and what I do allows me to combine both of those ingredients. My wife is an attorney with Delta. She's been with Delta for about 16 years. She went to Harvard Law School, so proud of her from that standpoint. She's done very well at Delta. My daughter, Blair, is 11. She's a big swimmer. She's a year-round swim. Has a meet today that I'm missing, unfortunately, for the football game. So I feel kind of bad about that. She's at Georgia Tech today. But she's been doing swim. She was like 4 competitive swims since she was 5. She plays the violin. She's made straight A's in school. She's in 6th grade. Proud of what she does, and probably influenced from mom and dad. I try to be at every event that she takes place in. I'm a golf pro. She plays a little bit of golf. She doesn't choose that as her one thing, which is fine with me because, you know, I'm the kind of dad that I'm going to support whatever my children want to do. I'm going to be at events that they're participating in. So I think that's what I try to do. So I'm very proud of my family, proud of what I've accomplished personally as a golf pro, and certainly proud of my wife and my daughter. Probably, there's a lot of them, but probably fishing at Santee Cooper. And mom was with us, and it was Rick and mom and the 3 of us. It was before Angela was even born, so I was probably, I don't know, probably 12, and Rick's a year older, so he was like 13. So we were at Santee Cooper fishing, and we were in a little small little bass boat. We couldn't catch anything. So there were some bigger boats, and the water was pretty rough and choppy. And so Dad said, they're catching fish, they're catching crappie out there. That's what we need to be catching. We need to go out there, and of course Mom was friendly. Dad, we don't need to go out there. We need a small boat, we're going to tip over. So we went out there and we started catching a lot of fish. And it was pretty choppy, but probably the funniest story is when we thought a snake fell in the boat. And of course, Mom freaked out. Oh, I'll get it, don't worry, I'll get it. And come to find out, the snake, it fell in the water, not in the boat. But, you know, Dad was going to be the man and take care of it. Of course, he had a paddle and he was like backing up. Where's that snake head? You know, so the whole thing was kind of funny. But, you know, just stories like that being with him. I mean, we went on a Christmas trip, usually ended up in Florida, take my grandmother, and this was more a little bit about my grandmother too, who passed away. It was my mom's mother. But we had gone to like an SOS cafeteria. Dad still loves the cafeterias. He likes to eat at cafeterias. So we'd gone to the cafeteria in Florida. I forget where we were in Florida. But when we come out, there was a couple over at a condo. Well, they were washing their car. They didn't have any clothes on. So grandmother looks at him and says, Dick, look over there at those people. They don't have any clothes on. They're washing their car over there. And then he looked at him, oh, really? He said, that's not too bad. So I just remember Dad looking and saying, you believe those people, Lila? he just laughing at him, looking at and seeing that. So, I mean, there's a lot of funny stories that, you know, that I can recall, but there's a couple of things that I can remember. Yeah, we had some knockdown dragouts, and our fighting ended, if you know Aunt Elliott, you know she loves people. Probably where I get my personality from, but we always had an exchange student that lived with us. I come home from college one time, and my room was taken away by a girl that was going to school at Clemson, played on the tennis team at Clemson. We're still good family friends with them, and she's from Atlanta area as well. But I come home from Christmas from Presbyterian College, and I go, Mom, what's all this stuff in my, oh, that's Linda. She'd moved in Linda into our room, so my room was overtaken, but the one thing about fighting that I remember was we had an exchange student from Sweden, from Gothenburg, Sweden. So he played on the golf team with us, and he went to school with us in my senior year at North Myrtle Beach High School. So Rick and I, at the end of my senior year, and Rick was going to his second year at Presbyterian College, we took a vacation to Sweden. And it had been building up for about a week. We'd been kind of having crosswords and that type of thing. Well, built up at their house. They had a 2-story house, and we got into it pretty good. I punched him in the face, he punched me in the face, and one thing led to another, and Rick decided he was going to pick up a cane. And he hit me right side of the head, about right here, and I fell over, and I couldn't see. So I think Rick thought he'd really messed me up. And I was like, I can't see. So Rick was freaking out. Oh, I've killed my brother. He can't see. So I was 18 and Rick was 19. I'm 49 and Rick is 50. And no crosswords since then. We get along fine after that. So the fighting ended right there. Going door to door for Dad and just passing out literature and that type thing. And just helping with that, putting up signs. I've spent many nights putting up signs for Dad. And passing out, going door to door, and please, you know, vote for Dad. And so, yeah, a lot of stories of just campaigning. I did a lot of campaigning through the years to help him. So I've come home from college to help with campaigns. I've left Atlanta now that I have a family to come help with campaigns. So I did a lot of that. And, you know, one thing about my dad in politics, he did it for the right reasons. And I can tell you that. He did it because he wanted to help. He wasn't in it for the money because there's not money. He did it for, I spent a day with my dad and phone rang all the time. Somebody had a problem. My dad always had time to listen and tried to help in every way. So I'm proud of the 30 years he served because I don't know about all of them, but my dad did it for the right reasons because he cared about people and wanted to make a difference, not only for his state, for his county and his district. One more funny story about Dad. Do you know what a candy stripe is? Well, I've had them before. Because if you did something wrong at my house, if we back-talked Mom, we had to go pick out the switch in the back of our legs. We'd have to go to gym class, and people would be laughing at you because you had little cut marks from the switches. I guess whatever you did, guess what? You didn't do it again. So I was raised that way, and I think that's a generational thing, but you know, I think that should be done more sometimes. If you got a real bad kid and they're doing something they shouldn't be, you'll learn by doing that way. You know, I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker or anything, but I was raised not to do all those things, and I don't. And I think that's the result of my way I was brought up. You know, I can remember coming on plenty of times and you'd think Dad was asleep in the chair because he sleeps in the chair. Well, he's an old fox. He'd wake up and, where you been, boy? It's 12:30, your curfew's 11 o'clock. Let me spare your breath. You get caught doing that enough, eventually you don't want to drink anymore. It's just not worth it. So we had a lot of that. You know, he was always, you didn't think he was always paying attention, but he was. And he's that way with people. You don't think he'll remember your name or whatever, but he'll go right up to you and say, "How you doing, Kelly? Good to see you again." He remembers. And I think that's one of his assets, that he does remember. He remembers what people ask him for help, and he remembers people's names, which I'm pretty good at, probably as a result of him. In my family, you know, I'm a younger generation. I work, my wife works. Two family income's important in this day and age. I think my dad was raised that he goes out and he provides the financial support for his family, so his family doesn't have to worry about where their next meal is going to come from. He provided that. That was important to Dad. And it was important for Dad, for Mom to raise the children. So Mom, I think, and I'm that way in my own marriage. You say I'm here today, you see anybody with me? Jamie Mitchell's here, my buddy I grew up in North Myrtle Beach and went to Presbyterian College with me. My family's not here. My family takes a lot of trips without me. I think that's the kind of relationship my parents had. They didn't have to be with each other all the time to be in love. And Mom supported Dad not only with his career. She did a lot to help him with his political career as well. And I think that's the kind of relationship they had. They didn't have to be together all the time to know they loved each other. So, and I think that's the way a lot of families were, you know, they're years back. That's just, you know, now it's you have two family incomes. They were, you know, Mom raised us, did a good job with us. Her job was just as important as Dad's, and I think Dad sees it that way too. So, you know, I think that's the kind of relationship they had. And I think that's important. I think marriages would last a lot longer if someone were like that. You know, you don't have to always do everything. Everybody's got to have their different things that they like to do that the spouse doesn't like to do. That's to me, that makes you a lot more happy. If your wife likes to go shopping, I don't like to go shopping. You like shopping? I don't either. So I'd rather go play golf. So if we go on a vacation, my wife would go get a massage, and I'll go play golf. And I think that's a lot what Dad did. And she had to, when Dad was in Columbia, who do you think had to put up with us? Mom. So that's important. It's an important job and an important role that she played for us. So, you know, the fact that she didn't work, I don't have any disrespect for that at all. I have nothing but respect and admiration for raising us because, like I said, Rick and I got into it pretty good. We were mischievous at times. We weren't always perfect, so, and she dealt with us pretty good.